Now that we have our layouts ready, let's place some drawings. So we're going to be using this drawing tool. I'm going to click here on the drawing tool and click on the layout. And then ArchiCad is going to ask you what view I want to place in the layout. So I'm going to choose here ground floor. There's another way to do it, much easier. So I'm going to delete this drawing. And all you have to do is make sure you are on the view map and drag the view here. So avoid dragging the drawing from the project map. So for instance, I'm going to drag here the first floor, and ArchiCad is going to do the same thing. It's going to bring the drawing for us, but it will create another view here that you may not want to. If you drag from the project map, you're going to end up with a very messy view map. So I'm going to delete this drawing and delete this view as well, and we're going to stick to the views that we have already created. So how this drawing works? So this is like a portal to your drawing. You can move the drawing around, you can reshape if you don't want to show everything, and you can also move the drawing around. Just make sure you have this move sub element active here on the path palette, and you can reposition the drawing the way you want. So I'm going to click in one of the edges here of the drawing, make sure I have the offset edge, and start resizing this drawing. That's why on my layouts I usually put some points here that doesn't get printed, but I can snap on when I'm resizing my drawing, so I know the limit of the sheet. So I'm gonna reshape it here. Here I might have to go a little bit higher. Now I'm gonna position the drawing first horizontally. I think I went a little bit too far. And now make sure I have everything inside the viewport. That's better. Now let's check the settings for this drawing. I'm going to select the drawing and use the shortcut Command T or Control T if you're on Windows. And here in the settings dialog, we can change the name of this drawing. So this is the name that's going to go here on the drawing title and the number. Right now, ArchiCad is using the same number that we gave for the view, which is 0 and ground floor. You can choose to have a custom one if you want to. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it by ID. Another thing you may want to look in here is the title. You have some different kind of drawing titles to choose from. I'm going to stick to the built-in drawing title. But right now, I don't really like the fact that it's stretching all the way there. So I'm going to go here to width, link width to position. So I'm going to say no. So title width, let's say 200 should be good. And I also think it's too far from my drawing, so I'm going to change the offset to the drawing to 5. And the position is bottom left, so that's good. I'm going to press OK, and that is much better. So I'm going to use the eyedropper to make sure that every new drawing that I place on the layout is going to follow the same settings for the title. I would like to show you another way to do this. I'm going to place here the basement and the first floor together in one sheet. And I will use the trace and reference here to see the first sheet that we set up. So I'm going to go here and choose reference, browse for trace and reference. And instead of choosing one of the floors, I'm going to choose one of the layouts. So I'm going to choose here ground floor. Now we have the ground floor as a reference, and I can make sure that I position my drawing exactly on top of the ground floor, so we have the sheets very consistent with the grid in the same position. I can also make sure that I have the same position here for the rest of the drawing. But for this ground floor, I don't really need to see all of these, which should be under the ground. So I'm gonna finish the drawing here, and you could, if you want to, put a 2D line here that is dashed, let's say. So now I can hide the reference because I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to move this drawing, copying it. So I'm going to press Command D or Control D. And then on the middle of the process, I'm pressing Option in the Mac or Control in the Windows. And I'm going to copy this drawing. Good. Now, instead of dragging here the roof level, I'm going to right click on this drawing and say Link Drawing To. So now I can choose another drawing. So I'm going to go to roof level and press link. So ArchiCad is going to keep in the same position here. I don't really need to see this grid because I'm already seeing on the drawing below, as long as they're in line. So I'm going to reduce this guy, bring it down a little bit. So that's a good distance, a little bit more. But let's say I want to see the grid here on the top. So there's a little trick we can do. I'm gonna again drag and copy this layout. Let me stretch a little bit so we can see the grid. And I'm gonna move down this drawing. Let's turn on the reference again and position my grid exactly on the same place as the ground floor. And now reduce my drawing down again. Good. And reduce my drawing up as well. So I don't want a drawing title for this guy here, so I'm going to select this, go to the settings, and on drawing title I'm going to say no title, press OK. And before we finish here, let's fix this guy. So I'm going to move this drawing a little bit more down, make sure I'm still inside the drawing, so I can try to reshape this one and make sure we have that north symbol there. The north symbol is, but the west is not, so I'm gonna drag it down a little bit. So some fine adjustments you have to do when you're placing the drawings. That's good. There we go. So this is a little trick to avoid having to go back to the floor plan and do a new smaller grid. You can do everything here by having two drawings of the same. So go ahead and finish placing the drawings for the other layouts.